East Podcast, WATP.
The Bonfire is now Big J. Oakerson and Robert Kelly. Robert Kelly took over for Dan Soder on that show on SiriusXM. And we know that Big J pays attention to the Dabbleverse to some degree. He's brought it up on...
I know that for a fact.
Legion of Skanks. Oh, you've talked to him.
Yes.
Okay, great. So they bring up, him and Robert Kelly are talking about how Shannon Sharp made almost $1 million on that Cat Williams interview. It's over $900,000 just in YouTube revenue.
Yeah, I think he's at like 54 million views.
It's crazy. And then he puts out clips and so there's just tens of millions of views, like you said. So he's making all this money from that. And so that triggers in their head. They're just like, oh, did you see that thing with Sue Costello wanting to get paid by Kevin Brennan for going on MLC? So this is the beginning of that conversation, and then we'll talk about what they're saying, what they're talking about.
Him and Sue Costello and Kevin Brennan at the same time.
I was just going to say the same thing, dude.
Whatever, we should...
It's so funny.
We're going to talk about where...
I don't know. Do we throw our hat in the ring of that? I mean, it's no hat in the ring. It was just a funny thing to see. We can mention it. It's a fun. Go look it up, everybody. Kevin Brennan's MLC podcast had Sue Costello on a few days ago, and Sue Costello likes to yell at her issues on the internet, and she sent a Venmo request?
Mm-hmm. I want fucking $112 for the fucking comedy I fucking gave you on the air, you cockfuck.
The request said for 2.5 hours of being hilarious.
Yeah. I'll do all Sue Costello. Sue Costello, where's her stuff? I'll read her stuff.
Yeah, go ahead.
This is essentially the club owner telling me I won't get paid after I already performed, unless I take my shirt off. Might even be illegal. And this idiot put it on the fucking social media.
Okay, so Sue Costello was a guest on MLC, and then she sent a Venmo request to Kevin Brennan. This is all behind the scenes stuff.
Certainly.
Kevin decided to post the Venmo request on his Twitter. So he makes this public by putting this up on his Twitter, and he says, not until you give us the name, that's the deal. Now, what he's talking about is on that show, she had mentioned some type of harassment or something that happened when she was working for CBS. And she would not give out the name. Apparently, it's someone famous. And she wouldn't give out the name. So that was kind of the running gag on that episode of MLC. All the people in the Super Chats are trying to guess who it was. And so Sue's seeing all this money coming in through Super Chats and is saying, hey, how about you give me $125? Remember, this is all over $125. And so just as you heard Bobby read it as Sue impression voice there, she screen grabs Kevin's tweet that says, not until you give us the name, that's the deal, with the photo of the Venmo request. And she writes, this is essentially a club owner telling me I won't get paid after I already performed unless I take my shirt off. Might even be illegal, and this idiot put it up on social media. So let's get their take on it. I have my own thoughts on this, but are you familiar with this, Jim? Did you know about
No,
this?
I didn't notice, but
you know all the players.
Yeah, I know all the players, yes.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how well you know Sue.
Yeah, I know Sue.
Okay.
I haven't seen in a while, but yeah, I mean, look, there's obviously when you do these podcasts, sometimes they'll pay you, sometimes they won't. There's no contract saying
correct.
You're getting this much amount of money.
I don't know, Sue. Is she completely stupid? Because why did she write 2.5 hours? Just say 1 hour.
Oh, no. 2.5 hours is what it meant.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, is what she meant.
Okay,
to say.
turns out I'm stupid.
Yeah. That's what she writes on her request is she requests $125 for MLC on the 15th, 2.5 hours of hilariousness, plus all that dough you made from Super Chats guessing my guy. All right, so that's why she's asking for this money. Now, I know Kevin a little bit. I've been on a show a couple of times. I know that if you send something like this to Kevin, it might go sideways.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Wait, before you take that off the screen, let me screen grab that because I'm going to send that text to you later.
Yeah, no shit.
It's my Venmo. I want my $125.
Do you see any fucking Super Chats coming in, motherfucker?
For my 2.5 hours of hilarity.
All right, so let's get some context on who Sue Costello is from the boys on The Bonfire.
If you want to know her claim to fame, there was once a Family Guy bit where they went through the names of people or TV shows that Fox had canceled over the years. And Costello was one of those names.
And I heard from Colin Quinn, fucking amazing.
Costello?
Costello, the show.
Funny?
Colin Quinn, and you know Quinn, he said it was fucking amazing. Should have never been canceled.
Wait, why do you
It
keep
was hilarious.
winking?
All right, so apparently she had a TV show.
She did. I remember
on
back
Fox
in the day.
that got canceled.
You know what they did with her, and they kind of put her in a bad spot. You know, when you're watching football, remember those corny sitcoms? They'd show the promos,
Yep.
and they'd always dance in them.
Oh, right.
Because remember, they'd say, if people are dancing, it's got to be funny.
Yeah.
So they always had her dancing in between the promos watching a football game. And every guy watching football lose, and his teams lose, he's got money on the game. He's not going to go, all right, I got to watch that on Tuesday.
What? This dancing lady seems charming.
You know, I haven't seen Ellen DeGeneres in a while. I need to see more people dancing.
I need some
on
dance.
TV.
So that was every promo was her dancing. I remember. I felt bad for her because I was like, the show could be funny, but no guy during a football game's got. I'm tuning in on Tuesday.
Right. That's a good point. Whenever they do those promos, because a lot of these networks lose money on the NFL. The NFL charges them so much money for the rights to the games, but they use it to promote. There's so many eyeballs on it, tens of millions of viewers for every game, that they use it to promote the other shows they have. But it's rarely the right target audience. And even the announcers can't bring themselves to read the promo. Well, this Tuesday, Sue Costello is up to some crazy antics. So check that out at 8 p.m.
Sue's going on a date this Thursday at 5.
Right. I was like, yeah, we'll be tuned in for that, right? All right, anyway, 3rd and 7.
No, that's what they do. Like they'd show a lot of those clips from that Big Bang Theory.
Yeah, right.
Which, if you're not like nerdy, you're not going to find that shit funny.
No football fan.
So the football in the middle of a game, there's 2 minutes left. It's tied up. You're going for the division title, and they're showing those nerd jokes that just fall flat.
Josh Allen just fumbled for the 3rd time, and you got to fucking watch these assholes talking about Star Trek. I'm fucking murder these idiots. All right, so this is them discussing the Venmo request.
Yeah.
It said Sue Costello requests $125 for MLC 115.24. 2.5 hours of hilariousness plus all that dough you made from Super Chats. And she spells Boston in Boston like she writes super.
Yeah, she writes her stuff in Boston.
I know, dude. Her writing is blotchy. Her writing is freckled and blotchy.
Yeah, apparently she went on the show and she saw the super chats coming in because Kevin makes money on super chats.
Sure.
So, and this is the thing, and they're going to get into this. As far as being a guest on podcasts, typically you don't get paid. Now, Kevin famously pays the guests that he has on there because, as we've been documenting recently, he likes to try to control people, telling Ray DeVito he can't do my show, or else I'm not going to give you $150 next time you do MLC if you do Carl's show. So he uses that as a controlling device, which is weird, especially the dollar amounts we're talking about. $125 is what Sue wants for 2.5 hours of work. She had a sitcom on Fox. That's not.
Yeah, I mean, I still think she lives in an apartment in New York City, so I don't know what that $125 is.
I don't know what that's going to do.
It's not really. It's not going to make or break. Maybe she goes to 14 comics and gets $100.
If she does 14 podcasts.
That's hilarious. All right. So let's see. They're going to talk about what Kevin's looking for here.
So at the end, she's like, pay me, motherfucker. And he was like, well, you got to tell me who did what to you. You know what I mean? Because apparently somebody big at CBS is what I'm getting, had done something to her. Mm-hmm. And she's in the middle of something trying to take these people down who have fucked her over the years in the industry.
Fuck you, pay me.
Okay, so I like the instincts here because this is what I start thinking, especially with a guy like Kevin Brennan who always needs controversy and drama to keep people viewing the show and interested in what he's going to say next.
I don't want to be a mark and a simpleton.
I don't want to be a mark either.
But I feel like I'm a mark sometimes because I'm going like, Sue Costello's losing her mind. These things aren't like funny things. She's always like in some kind of crazy, like, everyone thinks they could fuck with me. You're not gonna fuck. And Kevin Brennan's always in that stuff too. And is it all fake? Does like Kevin Brennan tell Sue Costello, like, if you fucking start shit with me?
You think it's two heels going at it?
Yeah, if everyone's like, hey, we could do this, and then people will be talking about us, and it sells tickets. You know, it's like, sure. Like she probably said, hey, Kevin, do I get paid for that thing? He's like, let's make it a thing. You know what I mean? Like, let's make it a thing online.
Yeah, let's make it a sexual harassment lawsuit.
Let's make it a sexual harassment lawsuit.
Yeah, that sounds like a good plan.
I was just like, I don't know if I would have gone this way with it if they had it worked out ahead of time. But I don't know. What do you think about that? Is that a possibility?
No.
You don't think so?
No, Kevin's not going, hey, let's do this. He just reacts to whatever's going on. You're on his good side or you're on his bad side. But he's not, he might plan it out like, hey, if I give this money, they'll stay on my show. But he's not telling Sue, hey, let's do this.
Right, let's do this thing.
It sounds like he tried to start an angle there where he was like, I'm not giving you the money till you tell me the name. Like, he's trying to do something.
Well, that makes it fun for Twitter.
Yeah.
right? Because then it gets people, oh, yeah, come on, Sue, you got to tell us a thing. You know, I can get something going with that. But yeah, I
Take your shirt off. Let's see them tits, Sue.
But I don't think, I agree. I don't think this was planned out between the two of them ahead of time. The reason why I'm skeptical these days, especially though, is because Tukey brought up that Chad reached out to him and wanted to do this whole thing where they were going to join forces and then have a falling out. So there are some people in this Dabbleverse who try to set up fake bullshit. So you have to be wary of these types of things. But I thought this was a great observation.
She makes a crazy correlation.
There you go.
She makes a crazy correlation. Unless I take my shirt off. Unless I take my shirt off, they won't get before. And that's illegal. Like, she's saying almost like, she's right. It is illegal to say you won't be paid if you did your work unless you take your shirt off.
Yeah.
That's not even might be illegal, quote unquote, as she said. That's very illegal. I don't know if he didn't promise her money.
Yeah, that's a crazy correlation. She goes immediately to, oh, you're asking for a sexual favor in order to get paid. It's like, no, this is very different than that. So Sue jumps to this conclusion of it's like asking me to show my tits, which is illegal, and you did it on the internet, therefore this is a crime. Like, no. This is all wrong.
It is a weird correlation, but I have to wonder what her intention was in posting it that way. Because it seems like something you would post to try to get other people worked up. There wasn't enough about the situation out there, you know what I mean? Just from that little small clip for everybody who would see this, and her circles aren't watching MLC podcasts,
Sure.
I imagine.
Right.
So like her putting that out there is really trying to fuck with Kevin pretty hard, I would say.
Well, she's responding to Kevin
I understand that, but
posting
I'm
something that
saying-
she did not want people to see.
Right.
The
but-
Venmo request is a little odd.
What did he say in that? I can't read that. Kevin said in the top of that
Okay,
tweet.
Let me get back to this because he says, not until you give us the name, that's the deal.
Oh, okay. So she said someone harassed her, and he's like, who's the name? And she wouldn't give it.
Correct.
Okay, yeah, that's just Kevin being a dick. That's Kevin being Kevin.
Of course
That's all it is.
And I should say this because I watched MLC the next day, and Kevin goes, I paid her the money. You know,
Yeah.
This isn't a thing that's dragging out or something
Right.
like that. And Kevin, to his credit, he's paid me a couple times when I've gone on his show, and he does it immediately. He doesn't see that money until the 20th or the 21st of the next month. That's the thing about YouTube is that
Yeah.
the YouTubers don't see that super chat money for a very long time, and they get a percentage of it too. So when you're on the show and you're watching all this money come in, you're like, "Geez, this guy's getting rich." Like, well, not really. In fact,
And then also the cut that YouTube takes, and then you were
that's what I
saying with
mean.
Apple products.
Apple takes a large percentage if someone's on their iPhone or iPad giving money. It's crazy how all of this works. It's a much smaller number than you'd expect when you're watching the super chats coming through. So they're talking about that on Bonfire here.
If he promised, if he said, like, if come on the show and we pay this much money, then it is what it is. If he just says, come on, do the podcast, and there's no, like, money agreement, it's you're coming. I don't think I'm getting paid for.
Kevin Hart's?
I didn't get paid for Kevin Hart's. I wouldn't be paid for. No. Soder gave me $3,000 for doing his, but he said he's given that pretty much standard.
What?
And
So that's a joke because
Yeah.
they both done Soder's new
I-
channel.
yeah.
So he wanted to like give it,
I was going to call Dan right now. Dan. I'm around this week if you need me.
It is funny that he threw out 3,000 because that is the number that Kevin paid Stuttering John to come back to the internet.
That's right.
So it's interesting that he threw out that number as the
Fucking that
joke.
$3,000 went a long way, didn't it?
I mean, it didn't work out great for Kevin, but it's worked out great for the rest of us.
Yeah.
That's for sure. So, all right. So they're mentioned there, was there an agreement ahead of time that she was going to get paid $125? And the answer is not really. She asked Kevin to come on the show. This wasn't a thing where Kevin's just like, Sue, can you come on the show? She's like, well, I mean, it's 2 hours. You know, what's in it for me? It was her asking him to go on the show and then demanding money immediately afterwards. And she's been on the show before. She's been paid before, so she expected it. But I understand why Kevin posted that. I get why he wanted to humiliate her a little bit for doing that. It's a little weird.
I don't expect anything from anybody's podcast. If I do your podcast,
I assume I'm just doing it as a promotion. Most of it's also, it's like it's promotion for yourself.
promotion for me and for you. If I'm bringing you a little heat and you're giving me a lot of heat, that's great.
Yeah.
But I guess she saw the money rolling in on the super chat, and she was like, give me some of that, fuckface. I just worked for you for 2 hours.
So this tweet exchange goes on. It gets crazier. And so I'm going to show you how she responded after this. She wrote, what Kevin Brennan is trying to do is to degrade me. It will never work. It hasn't with anyone thus far. It sure as shit won't be him and his $125 that will break me. Love, Costello.
Oof.
All right.
But I don't know if he's wrong in this argument at all.
It doesn't seem like he's wrong with him at all. I think he's joking, like, pay me some, I'll give you some money if you tell me the name.
Yeah, I think he's like doing a joke, and then she's like, here we go. Now you're breaking laws and rules.
Now you just want me to blow you, right?
And now you're going to need me to take my shirt off. Guys need you to take your shirt off, Sue Costello. He took Sarah Silverman's virginity.
I think there's something down further if you scroll down.
Can you read it, Bobby, in your Boston accent?
What Kevin Brennan's trying to do is degrade me. It will never work. It hasn't with anyone thus far. It sure as shit won't be him and his $125 that will break me. Love, Costello.
Costello,
whatever the fuck it is.
It's instead of Costello, she's Costello. Dummy. That wasn't thought out.
Coming to CBS this fall.
Costello's not good.
Who's the Costello? You hear Big J in there? He's like, that's not good. Nope. That wasn't well thought out. Uh-oh. That's a mess. So they're taking Kevin's side, obviously. After that, she writes, this escalates quickly. Financial abuse is a form of domestic violence. What? In business, and remember, $125 that she asked for immediately. In business and at home, a.k.a. controlling / withholding money to get someone to do what they want. Only weak men do this. I know. This is insane.
She's really trying to fuck him up on Twitter, man.
And here's the last part here. This is the same thing CBS tried. Steal my content, make me sexual, and not pay me.
Were they sexy dances she was doing on Fox?
I don't remember getting hard.
Yeah. Okay.
But the Dolphins are down 27-3. A minute left in the game, so.
I understand.
All right. So this isn't a good move on Sue's part, as you'll hear from the guys on the bonfire here.
It's then she says, this is the same thing CBS tried. Steal my content, make me sexual, and not pay me. Yo, steer clear of Sue Costello. Christine, Black Lou, some of the bookings here. Jacob, let's steer clear. That's too scary when he gets to that. You're making everything sexual at me. He goes, what? You just did. You made up that whole thing about the showing your tits. No one said to show your tits.
Well, did he? This is what I don't understand. Is I'm like, was she offered $125 and then not paid, or she's just thinking that she should get $125 for doing a podcast?
No. If you scroll down, there is a thing that. Scroll down a little bit. I think there was a thing where it was like, I've done it before and I got paid. I think. Look, I've done his podcast before. You don't get paid. I went to O&A for 15 years. Didn't get a fucking dime.
That's the thing. The fact, and I don't like that Kevin pays the guests, because then people expect it on all these shows, and that's just not the way this works. Like, you've been on O&A a ton of times.
I just did Corolla's podcast last week.
You just did Corolla. That's amazing. Huge platform.
I didn't get paid.
No.
I got a water.
Did you have to show him your tits?
No, I didn't have to show my tits. I should send him a Venmo. I won $125 for my hilarity.
You should.
You know. Boss Florentine.
Maybe you should put timestamps in there. At 16:12, I got a pop.
Yeah, I know. Look at that joke.
That's pretty
and you
good.
laughed at it.
Yeah, right.
That was worth at least $20.
Go back and watch it. I think you'll agree. So embarrassing. And they even talk about, they're like, Joe Rogan doesn't pay to have people on his show. And, you know, they'll fly out. They'll make it easy for you to come on the show. I mean, with Opie and Anthony, everyone's in New York anyway, so just come down to the studio and hang out with us. And
I couldn't even get parking to go on the Howard Stern show.
Right.
I'm like, hey, can I get parking? It's like $30. Like, we don't have it. I'm like, all right, fine.
How do they not have that in the budget? Well, we're paying that guy $300 million a year. So.
Yeah, but you know what? He would go, hey, Jim's going to be at the Funny Bone, and it would sell out. So it was all worth it. But I did ask, and they go, we don't have that in the budget.
Isn't that funny?
Like, all right, yeah.
Isn't that funny?
Yeah.
And so they bring this up, and I think they make a good point here.
But for the most, especially in town, you don't get paid for Mark Norman and Joe List.
And it's
Mark
on a
Norman
Zoom.
And Morel's.
It's on a Zoom or a StreamYard. You're not going anywhere. You're just turning your phone
home.
And the money he's making is probably under $1,000. That's how he makes his money.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the other thing, too. All you're doing is turning on your computer. It's not a lot of work to go on MLC. You have to be somewhere. And Kevin, obviously, complained about Anthony giving him $100 every time he'd go on the Anthony Cumia show. And Anthony just started doing that to like cover his expenses for travel into the city and go on the show. So it was just like, hey, like you were saying, pay for parking or whatever.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, I know you got to come into the city, Kevin. Here's $100. But he was a guest on the show, and it was more about promoting. And then Kevin bitched about that endlessly, had to go to war with Anthony and start doing a show at 4 every day to go up against Anthony's show, all over this $100. Meanwhile, he's paying $125. Okay.
No, I remember when I went on like a week later, I go, Anthony, I need at least $50 or I'm walking.
Yeah.
And then Kevin sent me a text, cocking it up with fucking Cumia. Right. I'm like, I was just joking.
Get the fuck out, dude.
That's hilarious.
Yeah. And I was like, dude, I'm fucking around. Yeah.
So I was checking out Sue's Twitter, and you can see the banner that she has on here is Sue.tv and a photo from 40 years ago. And so I was like, oh, what's this Sue.tv? I want to see what she's up to on there, if she's promoting it on the banner, on her Twitter account. And it's for sale.
Turns out it's $125.
You might want to change the graphics. So you forgot to renew your domain or pay for the hosting. So
make an offer. Let's make an offer, Carl. It says you can do it right there.
Sue.tv, I don't think is getting a ton of traffic, to be honest with you, Vinny. I'm not too worried about it.
Maybe there's so many people watching it crashed.
Oh, that's probably it.
It could be.
No, actually, definitely not, because it says it's for sale.
Is Sue TV like Legal Shield?
Sue TV. Can I sue for a TV?
I'm talking to my new lawyer, Costello.
Yeah, because Vince the lawyer was going to give John a TV, and then he didn't. So he's probably Googling sue for a TV.
I see it's for sale.
Podcast, WA.